Did you hear of the man, the Indian man that killed her, slaughtered her, dismembered her, blended her in a blender,
No?
and flushed her down the drain?
Was it recently?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's one of the biggest news of femicide, and everyone is like, what? The police is asking him, what kind of sick, how did you come up with that? And all he could say was, that's the only way he thought of disposing of the body.
Hi guys.
So guys, we're going to be talking about how you can keep your cool in an abusive or toxic relationship, how you just relax when the situation is not favorable until you cash out. Because a lot of people are fond of always saying, oh, walk away, walk away, walk away, walk away. You're married for 10 years. You've been in this relationship for 8 years. You've given you've invested your emotions, your energy. You've poured into this guy. And then all of a sudden it becomes toxic. And you're supposed to be the one to walk out of the marriage, maybe after 2 kids, to start from the scratch. You don't have a dime. You've been a housewife. You don't have a job. And everyone is saying, walk away, walk away. I can only say walk away if the relationship is physically violent. Then please, you need to separate. But if it's not physically violent and it's just emotional abuse, maybe financial abuse, he's not giving you money, he's not showing you love and all of that, we are here to give you the tips on how to get the bag. You need to be compensated for your efforts, for time wasted. Okay.
I'm trying to figure out how a woman is going to play that game, because if you're playing it with a man who is really smart, has his act together, it's a pretty much difficult one. Especially if you do not have your own assets, or it's not a combined assets that you have with this man. How is it ever possible that you would be able to play cool in an abusive relationship?
It is. Because, girl, like we always say, it's all about the emotions. Emotion, emotion, emotion. You just have to play that game of switching off your emotion. Because as long as you're seeing the subtle jabs, there's a way you can change the game, that you begin to use his weapons against him. Because as long as you're in your emotions, you're still being that you that loved him so much that some women are contemplating suicide because so much. Some women, what am I talking about? Some women have offed themselves. They've unalived themselves because they're not getting that, their love is not reciprocal. They're in this dark place. All you have to do is just to switch things around. You have to just begin to train yourself to ignore. Write it on a piece of paper, paste it by your bedside if it will only remind you on what you need to do. Ignore, ignore, ignore. And when you've ignored, just go ahead and ignore some more. Whatever you're saying, yap, 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 yap. If you can get a pod to plug into your ear, do that. If it's cotton wool, he's just doing this. Whatever, he's trying to hurt you because he's the one who brings the money. And you need to be equipped to live. I am not, as long as he's not beating you up, violent, coming at you with dagger, trying to maim you physically. If it's just, that emotional abuse, you're strong enough, girl. You have to learn to detach from your emotions. It's all about that emotion that disempowers you. It sweeps the carpet from under your feet because you still see him as the object of your desire. You want him to desire you back. Uncle is gone long ago. Whatever. You yourself, you can see that things have changed. So this game that you're playing now, you either turn him around and bring him back, or you just keep playing the game until
I think a woman can only detach when she has reached a point where she no longer has feelings for this person. And that's based on the several experiences that he has put her through. Until she gets to that point, her heart, her mind, her soul will not be in that place or in that position to detach. Right. Now, the only way that you can cash out from a man who is who has emotionally abused you, I wouldn't even say physical, because why would you stay in a physically abusive environment and you think you can function? In no time you'll be in the grave. All right. So once it is physical abuse, you have to get out. In fact, do not give it room to exceed once. Once a man shows you who he is for the first time, take him for it, because he will always be that way. I've seen situations where a man beats a woman and comes back playing the victim, crying and saying that he would never repeat it again, only for him to do it over and over again. Abusive men, except they've gone through therapy, they can never change. All right. So if he apologizes and he seems remorseful, don't think that you're not going to get the hard end of the stick when you offend him or you do something that goes against him. So the only way that you can cash out from a man is when you've detached emotionally, physically, spiritually, you've broken that bond. The only thing that makes you attached to a man is the bond that you still hold. If he's not holding his own end of the bond that both of you share, there is no reason why you should hold your own end of the bond. So once you see that he's not remorseful, he still acts the way that gets you feeling a shadow of yourself. And you know that there is no redemption in sight, no matter how hard you've tried. That's the moment you have to calculate. Sit down and start to strategize. Because if he's not for you, he's against you. And why would you be for him? Now listen, this is not us campaigning evil women. No, this is what I will keep on saying: self-preservation. Women, we need to learn how to preserve ourselves, because if you check it out, the percentage of men that have been killed in their marital home and the percentage of women that have died in their marital home,
femicide,
is a lot. The women's percentage is a lot higher than that of the men.
Sorry to interject, did you hear of the Indian man that killed her, slaughtered her, dismembered her, blended her in a blender, and flushed her down the drain?
Was it recently?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's one of the biggest news of femicide, and everyone is like, what? The police is asking him, what kind of sick, how did you come up with that? And all he could say was, that's the only way he thought of disposing of the body.
It is a clarion call for women to preserve themselves. I'm not saying that you should be totally careful in such a way that when you see love, you start to doubt it. All right? Give love a chance. But you have to test your love. You have to put love to a test.
And when you see that it's beyond redemption, don't hang around for 30 years, 35 years.
Even if you're going to hang around for 35 years, make sure that you're strategizing in such a way that funds are not diverted away from the family or diverted away from you. Because what men do these days is that they divert their funds, if not to strangers, but to their children, which is also cool. But it's a marriage between man and woman. You slaved in that home. Even if you did not bring in finances into the home, the mere fact that you bore his children, the mere fact that you played the full-time housewife, playing a full-time housewife is no joke. Having to raise the children all by yourself while the man goes out to fend is no joke. So you have to sit down and re-strategize on how you can make sure that the funds are going through you. And how can you do that? And that's another.
Remember, we were talking about an abusive man. Let's say financially abusive, not physically abusive, like we said. When it's physical, you have to walk away. So emotionally abusive, you know, he body shames you, he makes everything your fault, he gaslights you, he stonewalls you.
When he does all of those things, you should be like a chicken where they pour water on the chicken and everything rolls off the feathers. He's giving you all of those emotional abuse, but what you have at the back of your mind is who you truly are. That's why you have to know who you are.
Exactly.
For a fact. If he says you're ugly, you look at yourself in the mirror. That's not who you see.
And those things he calls flaps and fat and all that,
they are a reflection of who he is, basically.
Yeah, because you birth his children. You are a warrior. Those are war scars. And he should be proud of them. Because when he came, the first time he came to ask you out, when you guys started, probably 10 years ago, your boobs were not like this. There were no stretch marks on your arm and all of that. So it was in the course of you living with him, bearing his children and being in his life, pouring yourself into him. You know, that's when you got those scars.
You cannot cash out if your nails are not clutching into the core of his business.
The paper. Yeah, you gotta get the bag.
So you at some point you have to find a way to not be that full-time housewife. You have to also find a way to be his advisor. I think we talked about it some in one episode.
But you know one thing, when they start detaching like that, they don't come for your advice anymore. When you're talking to them, the men begin to see you as nothing. So I think we should talk about first how to decenter them from that place where they make you feel like trash. You cannot live 24 hours in a day just centered around this man. You suffocate him. You will suffocate him.
And then when you're focused on yourself, he starts to redirect his attention towards you.
He will start wondering.
He'll start wondering, what is she doing this for?
Who
is she doing this for?
My friend told me that her own husband was actually cheating. So when she stopped pouring into him and, you know, she started focusing on herself. She went to the salon, she did her lashes, she did her nails, she did everything. And then that night when she came back, he was like, who is this? What is this on your eye? Like, he has so degraded her to the extent that instead of saying, oh, your lashes are beautiful, it's like, well, what are those ones on your eyes? And she ignored him. So he thought it was just a phase, but she kept to it. You know, and she told me at that point, I did not have any money of my own. I did not have money. So, you know, we were just talking and I told her, I said, babe, whatever is coming into the house for the upkeep, slash it into half. Two. She was like, meat in the soup. I said, everybody will have to manage. Do you get paid for being a housewife? No, right? Everybody, he gets paid for the job he does outside. So you have to start paying yourself. And it was like trial by error. I mean, the money that comes in the month, she, you know, sometimes she will take, sometimes she will not take. But she started building like a powerhouse of stability for herself.
She has to.
At this point, she can actually go out, sit down and have a drink and pay for it. Before, she couldn't do that.
Especially for women who are just the full-time housewife. You don't have a source of income from any other part of the world except from the housekeeping allowances that you've gotten. Now, putting into consideration the economic situation in the country, you should know what percentage of money you should slash out of the feeding.
But no matter what comes in, women should learn to take care of themselves. Do you know some women still don't use a menstrual pad? Because it's not, everybody is eating. The kids are chubby and healthy, but she cannot even bring out a token to buy menstrual pad for herself. It's real. Some women can't, they don't even have lipstick. When they go to weddings, they will, please, do you have lipstick in your bag?
And that's why I do not support a full-time housewife. Even if you're a full-time housewife, there are online businesses that you can do that you can generate money.
Yeah. Even in that condition where you are, it's not just about the money now. Detaching from your emotion, it's about taking care of yourself.
Yes. There's a way that you can even look so good in that house and the husband will think that you're cheating.
That's where I'm going to. You can cut your hair, you can do some baby coils, you can tint it purple, pink, gold, whatever. You do your lashes, you do your nails, you look good, and then he comes back, and when he comes back, he's wowed by your appearance. Don't go and be shining your 32. Don't go. How do I look? No, it's not. You are not even talking to him at this point because he does not value you, and you're trying to survive. So he's looking at you like a lapdog. He's coming towards you. That's when you keep pulling back. He will be wondering, what's going on? Is she cheating on me? This is the time for you to pull back. Pull back your energy. Don't let him harvest your energy. He might want to start drama to get you. He might just chat with a girl and keep his phone up, unlock his phone for you to see.
You're not seeing it.
Jealous. Look at it and pass.
Be emotionless.
They come and tell you they saw him somewhere with a girl. You don't care. You don't care, you don't care, and you don't care. At this point, for you to get your power back, you have to completely detach. And then you see him coming towards you. And it doesn't end there. When he comes towards you, that's when he will want to pamper you again. And I'm speaking from experience. Mine wasn't as extreme as that, but I noticed that when I stopped pouring in and I started withdrawing, I was more into myself. I was doing a course online. I was always focused on my upcoming exams, my lectures online and all of that. I was just doing my own thing. I'll cook for the house, everybody eats, and that's that. I don't care whether you come back by 12 or not. I don't care. I just was too invested in myself. I noticed that he started coming back. And when he was coming back, I had to force myself to pay attention. And it really worked. It reminded me of when I was younger, when a guy I didn't like was all over me. It took me time. He had to really prove himself before I opened up a little crack again for the light to shine through. I kept opening and opening, and then I noticed that you won't believe it. He started spoiling me with money, that I had to ask before. So it is not a myth. It is not just fallacy. It happens. When women are too overgiving, men are hunters. They run away. They don't want that. They don't want you when you're so all over them. So pull back, take care of yourself, keep, being on the receiving feminine side. Don't be masculine. Don't chase him. Don't ask him. Don't question him. Don't find out what he's doing. And you watch him come back to you. And when he comes back, as he's dropping the cash, you are piling it up. You're saving it to open a business, invest it. Because it's from that little you move to what you want. At the end of the day, cashing out is not about embezzling millions from him.
It's about redirecting his energy again. And the only way that you can redirect his energy towards you is you detaching. It happens. Men do not understand how to function with so much or excessive love.